That might have been one of our least satisfying calls, judging by the look on your face, but we're going to take it.
Oh, yeah. But it's ice cold. So, like some of the things in this episode. So,
hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Controllers and Couches. First things first, I apologise profusely that we're 24 hours late on the podcast this week. I finished uni late today, that's why we're recording it so late today. Sir got called into work on his day off yesterday, so at the end of the day, if work calls, it's kind of a high priority.
Pretty much, and
so
got to pay it in bills.
Billage, so I apologise about that, just straight off the bat, because we like doing this. We have fun.
We do.
It's a bit of a catch-up session for us.
Yeah, pretty much, some downtime, yeah.
So yeah, what's new in your life in the last 8 days? Good sir.
Let's see, lots of work. They've had a St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah. Did you celebrate this year?
No.
You little leprechaun, you?
Yeah, I pretty much played Call of Duty because they've got some weapons on there and stuff, so I've been trying to get them. I've had apparently they last for 19 days,
yep.
But so not as much as I want. Been doing some reading, some stumbling on some TV series and stuff, so just been doing some stuff in the gardening, managing some ferns.
Yeah. We also repotted a couple of things.
Yeah, we did.
We repotted cerebrum and we split a couple of bromeliads.
Yep,
That's
we
what
put the
called?
pups in the in a new pot, so that'll be interesting once they start putting out roots, and then we can put them into bigger and better things.
Bigger and better pastures.
Yeah.
As it were.
So all in all, it's been a good week.
Yeah. What have I done this week? Nothing besides uni, to be honest. I do have a story. I want to start with today's story first, okay? So, today I went to uni like an hour earlier than I normally would, because I was like, I'm just going to beat the traffic. I'm just going to get out of home, get there, and I'm going to sit down in one of the study areas, and I'm going to do the required reading for today's 2 lectures. And so, you know me, I have my yellow highlighter out, my pink highlighter to break up my sections, and I have my headphones in, and I'm just listening to what do they call it? The King Arthur soundtrack.
Yeah.
Because I just listen to instrumental stuff if I'm tuning out everything while I'm working.
Yep.
Just to block out everyone talking and making noise. So I'm sitting down and I'm highlighting, and out of the corner of my eye, someone walks up to me, and I've gone, it's one of my uni friends. And so I look up, and it's not who I thought it was. It's this person I've never seen before in my life. So she's talking to me, but obviously I can't hear her. So I take my headphones out and I go, hi, I'm sorry, what? So I had my headphones in, and she's like, you do physiology? And I've gone, no, sorry, I did it last year, but no, I don't do it now.
Yeah.
You help me, you do physiology. Sorry, brief intermission, thanks kids, much love. And so I've gone, no, sorry, I did last year, not this year. And she goes, no, you help me. So she dumps her lecture notes in front of me, and I'm like, oh God, here we are. And the question was, this kid, it was a multiple choice question, and this kid had taken his grandmother's blood pressure meds, and he got sick from it. And judging by his symptoms, you had to say what medication he had taken. And I'm not trying to act like I know it all, but I like physiology.
Yeah.
I love enzymology, and I love drug targeting. So I kind of knew this because, like I said, I knew this content. I did similar stuff. So I'm assuming that she's in my biochem class, and she's seen me in phys last year or something like that, or she's seen me in the lectures and thinks that I've done it.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know. Okay, whatever. So I have no idea. So she came up to me, she asked me, she dumped a piece of paper, and she's shouting at me to tell her what the answer is. And I'm like, well, hold on, they would tell you all these enzymes and all these drugs in your lecture notes, let's go through them. And she's telling me that it was a parasympathetic response. And I'm like, oh no, sorry, she's telling me that it was a sympathetic response. And I've gone, no. If he was sympathetic, he'd be having a high blood pressure. Blah, 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 blah. This is decreasing cardiac output, which means it's parasympathetic. She goes, oh no, but he fainted. But you don't, so she was just arguing concepts with me, and I'm like, look, I don't do your subject. You asking me, this is what I think it is. And then she asks me what ACE is, which is acetylcholinesterase, and this is the physiology equivalent of asking a normal biologist what a chloroplast does.
Yeah. So it's, or otherwise,
I'm not trying to put people down, but this girl's having a go at me, and I'm like, calm down. What have you got? She's like, oh, I've got the clicker session. I'm like, first off, the clicker session isn't graded. You're there to refine your knowledge. So don't stress if that's what you're worried about. But as I just explained to you, it's this molecule. And she's like, but where does it say ACE? And I've gone, that's your acetylcholinesterase. It's right here. And she goes, but what's an ACE inhibitor? She didn't understand what an inhibitor was, so I explained to her what an inhibitor was. And she's like, fine, I'll ask someone else. And I'm like, so I just wasted 15 minutes of my time explaining something to someone who didn't even say thank you, just came up to me and yelled at a random person on the side of the street, right? And this is at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not bright-eyed and bushy-tailed till at least 11 o'clock.
No, you're like getting your brain right for the morning, and this person's just come up completely, disrupted your feng shui, basically.
And as you know, I don't talk to people I don't know. And someone's yelling at me at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm shitting my pants going, what did I do? So yeah, that happened. I hope she did well. I hope, if I see her again, I'll go, so, how'd you go? Was I right? But anyway, the main news, you'll actually already know this story because I told everyone this situation when it happened yesterday. To give you the rundown, I was waiting for my bus because Sir was actually going to drop me off at uni, but like we said, Sir got the call in to come in and do an extra shift at work and had to swap his schedule out for the week, and I was like, yep, sure, no worries. And I left home about 10-15 minutes earlier than you did because I was going to catch an earlier bus than I normally would have, because again, I was like, oh, I'm going to get to uni and I'll get some studying done there and I'll beat the traffic.
Yep.
So I'm waiting for my bus comes, and again, because it was in the middle of the day, there are a lot of elderly people that go on that bus route that I take. And so I'm in no rush. Do you know what I mean? Bus ain't going to leave for another 10 minutes. And they've been waiting there longer than me, so I'll let them go on the bus first. And then on the other side of the bus shelter to where I was standing was another student who goes to the same uni as us, and he was in a wheelchair. Now, that's not a problem.
No.
It sucks that the person is in a wheelchair to begin with. Not that I'm saying that their quality of life is any less or that they're any less of a person or anything like that. I'm just saying that, okay. So, he just rolled up to me and he goes, I'm sorry, is this the 5:50 to blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
And I've gone, yep, absolutely is, you're going to this place, same as me. And he's like, yep. And so he rolls up to the door and I'm just standing behind him. And because I'm thinking, I'm not going to get on the bus now because I've just spoken to him and that's rude if I cut in line. And at the same time, the bus driver's going to see him and want to flip out the ramp.
Yeah.
And I can't be in the way for that, right? Allegedly. That's how the story was supposed to go. And then, so we're standing there for 2 minutes and this poor kid is not shouting, but not raising his voice, but trying to get the bus driver's attention and ask him for assistance. And the bus driver's pretending like he couldn't hear him. And so I've gone, this kid was really freaking out and this kid was really getting stressed. So I don't mean to belittle him by calling him kid. He's in his early 20s, but he's younger than me. So this guy was getting stressed. So I've gone, I'll let him know we're here. So I climb on the bus, got a tap on, but the marquee reader at the front of the bus, the first one as you step on, was off.
Would you think that's
kind of be the main one?
Yeah.
I know. So I've gone, oh, okay. And then I've turned around to talk to the bus driver. And I've gone, oh, I'm sorry, sir. There's another passenger. This gentleman's trying to get on your bus. And this is where shit went south. He looks at me, and if looks could kill, I'd be dead. He goes, what the fuck is the matter with you? What's wrong? I already see him. Get off my bus. He opens his cubicle, he slams the door, and I've gone, and he storms off after, screaming 100 times, what's the matter with you? And I've just gone, oh, okay. I go to touch on to the middle of the bus where the 3 readers are.
Yep.
And he goes to flip the ramp. When I'm done touching on the other passenger who's on the bus with me, and so he's gone, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm sorry you got yelled at. And I've gone, it's completely fine. I'm glad we're both on the bus. He couldn't reach the reader because the wheelchair isn't wheelchair accessible past the front third of the bus. So he gave me, I was like, hey, do you want me to touch your my key on? Because the front reader wasn't working. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I touched him on, gave him his my key back. And then, so he's smiling at me, I smiled at him. And then the bus driver comes to where I'm standing, and he's like, get off my bus. And I've gone, look, sir, please come down. I didn't mean to offend you. I was just trying to help a fellow passenger to use the service. And he's adamant to get me off the bus. And I swear to you guys, I didn't raise my voice or anything. I was nice, cool, calm, and a human being about it. He's trying to toss me off the bus, and I've gone, look, sir, no offence, I've already paid for this service. I'm going somewhere. If you have an issue, if you can't do your job, call the bus company, and if you need a break right now, get someone else to cover your shift for you. This is unacceptable. And there are elderly people who started getting really stressed and all that sort of thing. So he stormed off back to his cubicle, slams the door behind him, and goes off. And the bus trip is 10-15 minutes anyway, so I'm sitting there stewing, and I'm like, I don't care if people have a go at me, it's when people have a go at other people that annoys me.
Yep.
So I've gone, this is unacceptable. What would this person... Not that I'm trying to act like I'm it, or I'm infallible, or this kid wouldn't have gotten on the bus without me, but this other passenger shouldn't have had to deal with that shit anyway, right? No. So I've done the best thing I thought of, and I screenshot my route through the app. I've taken a photo of him in his rearview mirror, so that way they cannot disregard me saying this was a particular driver, because this bus line doesn't make people wear badges of their names or their IDs or anything like that. And so I've gone, okay, as soon as I step off this bus, I'm going to take a photo of the rego plate.
Yep, which is smart.
So this guy kept giving me death stares and muttering under his breath the whole 10-15 minutes. And so I've gone, you know that meme from White Girls where it's like, I'm going to write a letter? Except I was like, I ain't going to write a letter. So I tweeted Ventura to see what Ventura would say.
Yeah.
And they completely ignored me, even over 24 hours later. So after the 20-minute bus drive, I go to get off the bus. He's still being shit about it. I tapped the other passenger's card off first before my own. Pack my stuff. While he's distracted offloading the passenger who needed the ramp, I've gone to the back of the bus, taken a photo. And then he didn't see me take a photo, but he stepped past to watch me as if he wanted to reverse the fucking bus to fucking run me down. And I've gone, nah, I've had enough. So I looked at this particular bus company's website because it's linked through Twitter, and to get through to them you have to call 1-800 and then the bus company's number. And you know when you have a smartphone and you touch that number, it's supposed to automatically call that number if you press call or cancel,
yep.
Right? So I didn't press any numbers, I didn't type anything in. So I press call, and then it doesn't connect because it's a wrong number or the number doesn't exist. So I've gone, well, this ain't going to stop me. So I've gone through the whole list of 30-something depots to figure out which bus depot is the one this guy's from that's closest to the route and the, and all that sort of thing, which office it has to be. And then so I figure out which one it is. I call. I don't get anyone from the, the normal customer service line. So I've gone, you know what? The one line they're going to have open at 9 o'clock is the jobs one.
Absolutely.
So I've gone, so I've gone, stuff it. I'll just call the jobs, call the jobs line. And then literally 2 rings and this lady picks up. And she was really, really nice. And she was more disgusted than I was. And she's like, oh my God, tell me what time this was. Because I told her the route number and everything. And I've gone, this is the time. And she goes, do you have any other detail? And I've gone, if it helps you, I've also got his registration number, like the plate of the bus. So that way, because that's how they know their shifts and stuff. Because you can't identify the driver unless you know what bus it is. Because they can argue at any point whichever driver it was, and I was waiting for her to say that. So that's why I also said, you also have CCTV on this bus. My dad's cabbie. I know how this works. You don't have, which you should invest in, identifying your bus drivers. Not only for issues like this, faults, I'll call them, but also if people want to give a decent customer service review, you want to promote your bus drivers and help your bus drivers out and shit. And so she's like, yeah, we'll look into that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I pretty much said, I also have a picture of him too. And so she was like absolutely disgusted more than I was. She was like, did the kid get on the bus? Did he drive off? And I was like, no, he got on. He got off. And then so she's pretty much like, I'm escalating it. They took down my details too, so that way they'll let me know. And I was like, look, I'm not looking to get anyone fired. I'm not looking to get anyone fined. I'm not looking for anyone to lose their shifts or anything like that. You just, not her specifically, but the company needs to make sure that that's just not acceptable. People, and that's what I said to her. I know I'm young. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to act entitled. But if you're going to have a public service system, and you're going to win a contract, you need to support the walks of life, the people that are going to need, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you're a slow walker, whether you've got a broken leg and you're on crutches, whether you're a really, really short kid and you need the bus driver to lower down the hydraulics so you can climb on with your mum to get dropped off at school in the morning, right?
The driver shouldn't be having a go at you just for trying to assist. At the end of the day, if more people are, offered, advice and tried to help out, the world would be a better place. At the end of the day, you get these people who are fare evading, abusing people on buses, and you don't see them getting yelled at. Yeah, of course.
And at the same time, I understand that this guy has a really tough job, especially on our side of town and the bus routes this particular company works. And you can understand that there wouldn't be that many nice people, and they'd get a lot of shit from their job. So I have my double 2-hour lectures, and I've gone, hang on, this lecture's finished 5 minutes early. If I literally hightail it for the bus right now, because I calculated it out, his route, his loop, how there's a couple of buses that work the line, that bus he won't be the bus driver that picks me up. So the bus comes, and I'm looking down at the ground. I step on the bus. Who should be there? What I didn't factor into my grand plans was the fact that this guy went on a lunch break for the day, right? So, straight away gets out of his cubicle and goes, get the fuck off my bus. That's what I forgot to say. He called me Russian scum.
Yeah, that was pretty
when I sat down when I went to uni. And so he goes again, he's like, Russian scum, get the fuck off my bus, blah, blah, blah. And it turned into an all-out race war. And I know this guy's nationality because I am his nationality. Do you know what I mean? I know you're Greek Macedonian. So I pretty much... Look, I'm either shit scared in my... I don't have fight or flight. I have fight or shitting my pants fright.
Yeah.
I can't move. I can't say anything. And so at this particular point in time, I was just over it. Because in my head, I didn't feel like I offended him in any way, shape or form. But he had a go at me. And he was playing the race card. So I've gone, whatever. And I've gone, look mate, it's been a long day. I know you take a lot of shit for your job. I take a lot of shit in my job. You want to drive customers. I'm a customer. If you can't deal with it, just blah, blah, blah. And you might say to me, Steph, why didn't you just wait for the next bus? Because the next bus doesn't come for another 30, 40 minutes on a good day in no traffic. Do you know what I mean? And I shouldn't feel afraid to get on a bus.
No, you shouldn't.
Right?
You should
I didn't do anything
wrong. Go
wrong.
about your day without any issues.
So this guy's having a go at me, and okay, my dad taught me a few things in my life, and one of them, and I actually taught you this too, and one of them was, he says to me when I was little, he was sexist, but a girl shouldn't have to swear.
No.
But if a girl needs to swear, you need to know what to say to shut everyone up and to get them to leave you alone, right? So this guy's telling me about how his family is Macedonian mafia and how he's going to get his family on me and a ton of other shit. And I was just like, first off, calm down. Like, I'm not loaded personally, but my maternal grandmother's side is. And so who he said he was, they're not family friends, if that makes sense. On my grandmother's side, I recognise the surname because he said who his family was and who he was going to set on me. So I pretty much just said, well, look, mate, and I said, first off, I called him a motherfucker. I said malaka, which I probably shouldn't have done in hindsight, but I did. And then I pulled out that, I think it's Ocean's 12, where Danny says, look, I know all the guys you'll send after me, and they like me a lot more than they like you. And then I said, sit the fuck down, pitch mate and kopaniche, which means can't whose mother's a drumstick.
Yep.
And he shat himself on top of that, finding out who I was. And then I said, if you're having issues, if you can't work a bus, if you can't work this route, get the company car to pull up here, get an alternate driver like they do when they swap shifts with you guys, and you go home. I'm getting on this bus, I just want to go home.
Yep.
I've done nothing to you. And he goes, alright, I'm sorry. And he sits down. I had already touched on during this conversation, and I sit down. He doesn't whisper anything under his breath. He doesn't, death stare me in the rearview mirror. And then I've gotten to the stop where I need to get off. I tap off, pack my shit away, pull my house keys out. And I do what I always do to every bus driver. And I say, thank you very much, sir, when I'm getting off. And do you know what this guy says to me? Thank you, darling. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. And I've gone, fuck. So that is sorry. That was probably like a 20-minute story. But
worth it.
Yeah. You pissed yourself laughing.
That was, yeah.
When I told you.
Pretty intense.
But, so yes, that was my bus episode yesterday. Alright, so, bypassing everything else, I don't have any book updates besides I haven't even been reading my monthly allocation of Dragonfly in Amber. I need to catch up the last 3 days.
I've read 4 chapters.
Yay! At least one of us is breaking ground.
I'm breaking ground. I'm nearly finished, so...
Do you know what you're reading after this? So, you could almost have this book done, right?
Yeah,
before next week.
Yeah, before next week, I potentially have it done. So I think after...
And then we'll have a party.
Yeah. So I think after that, it's... Well, I'm listening to Ready Play One.
Yeah, but what are you going to read?
So I may potentially read it as well.
Okay, you're going to read the movie cover or the original cover?
Probably the original cover. Or otherwise what I do is I go read 7 Dangerous Wonders.
Oh yeah, you got to read that story too, don't you?
Jack West, yeah.
Oh, you have to read the novella first, which is on the iPad.
Yep.
The prequel novella. It's like 45 electronic pages. You read it in like 10 minutes. It's really good. Alright, so our quiz for today will make sense a little later on. But the quiz we are undertaking today is, which version of Lara Croft are you more like? The link for you guys will be in the episode notes. so you can take it along with us.
Yes.
Alright, so first question. Pick a site to explore. Looks like a French provincial maze. Jesus' tomb. What looks like a couple... Is that a Taiwanese temple? Or a Balinese temple?
Sort of, yeah.
And then what's the one on the right?
I think
one's Thai, one's Balinese. Right? I don't know. How do I find out? What happens if I click think stock? Nope, that just selects the...
Just random stuff.
Yeah. If I save the image as...
Well, you look at it and kind of go, would you explore...
Maze, Jesus' tomb, or a couple of temples?
Or basically you could say maze, tomb, is that a mausoleum? Or like a church? Church or...
Temple.
I'm
going to go temple.
Temple?
I'm going to go for the one with the blue sky, so the last one.
Yeah.
Pick a mansion.
I might go for a tomb. I'm going to go for a tomb.
You go tomb? Jesus' tomb.
Pick a mansion.
It's a dog kennel. What looks like a British countryside house, manor. What looks like an even more, like the Duke of Sandringham's palace.
Yep.
Or what looks like a French palace.
Or estate.
Yeah.
I might go for the top right one.
I was actually going to go top right too. So it's
or
one
I go,
that looks like...
unless I go the old...
You go whatever you want.
Yeah,
man.
I'll go bottom left. I'll go the...
Well, you don't have to get the same one, but
yeah.
I really like the garden and the pond at the front of the house.
And then pick a car.
A motorbike's not a car.
No, it's not. So
I should say that it's a... What do they call it? A supercross bike.
Yeah. So
a dirt bike, that's the word. Four-wheel driving, a Rolls Royce, what looks like a Phantom 2. Is that a Phantom 2?
Yeah, that looks like a Phantom
3.
2. Or a bike.
Or a bicycle.
Bicycle.
I'm going to go for the Jeep.
I'm tempted to go for the Rolls.
You go, girlfriend.
Or actually... actually, no. Off-road is...
I just feel like I would prefer off-road driving. It's safer than being on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
And you can't drive around and do cool shit in a Rolls. And I don't want to exert myself on a bicycle. So if I can afford it, well, I'd have a Phantom as my everyday car.
Yep.
But as, hey, let's have some fun, I'd have a Jeep.
Yep. So Jeep it is. Okay, pizza.
Is that pizza pie?
Pizza pie.
Pepperoni.
It's a
cheese
pepperoni.
Pizza or what looks like a margarita.
Yeah. I'm going to go pepperoni.
I'm going to go for the looks like a margarita to me. Pick a console. That's Xbox, the original Xbox, GameCube, a PS1, or a GameCube. A Game Boy, rather. Original Game Boy. PS1 for show.
Yeah, PS1.
Where's your butler? Locked in the freezer. Bitch, I don't need no butler. Making me some kick-ass gadgetry. Ironing? I don't know. I'm tossing up between bitch, I don't need no butler. But at the same time, I don't want to clean a mansion by myself. So do I say ironing? I don't know. I'm going to go ironing, I don't know. What did you get, bro? What are you selecting?
I'm going to say locked in the freezer.
Derp. Done?
Yep.
Who'd you get?
I got rebooted Lara Croft.
It's in the 2018 movie?
2013 reboot of the game. So I got Your Tough as Nails, Driven, and Love a Good Adventure. You also can't go 5 minutes without falling through the roof of an ancient pagoda or whatever. Clumsy. So, woo! Clumsy.
I got the Thousands Lara Croft. You're the Lara Croft of die-hard fans, and that's what makes you brilliant. You're a little more mature and have moved on from locking your butler in the fridge.
Funny.
Alrighty, hoity. Everyone else, please let us know what you got. Show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
Alright, so we have 4 reviews for you this week.
Yeah.
3 movies, 1 kind of mini docu-series. Launch us into your Red Sparrow review, please, good sir. But first off, give us a brief synopsis.
Okay, so essentially, it deals with a Russian intelligence officer who makes contact with a CIA agent who's American, as they are. And essentially they go on a wild journey to discover a Russian mole, or American mole. But it's pretty much a Russian mole.
Yeah.
So yeah, Russian, secret intelligence.
Yeah, I just want to add 2 things.
Yeah.
One, it's got Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh yeah, I was getting to that.
And, I didn't know. Sorry. Are you done? Continue, please.
So essentially...
I so rudely interrupted.
Yeah, so basically, Jennifer Lawrence, she plays the Ruski intelligence officer. Ruski intelligence officer.
Who used to be a prima donna ballerina, but had an accident.
Yeah, she fell down. And, hurt herself. And then we have Joel Edkin.
Project.
Joel
Pronounce.
Edgerton.
As project.
The CIA agent. And then basically you get a bit of a love tryst going on with weird stuff because she's trying to get on his side and
she's trying to play both sides at the same time.
Yeah. So that
launch us into your review, sir.
Okay, so all in all, if we're going for like a spy thriller, I thought it was good. It had a few little really interesting twists and turns.
It really focused on the honeypot.
It did.
Play.
It played the honeypot CIA Russian thing really well. You read it in the books and go, yep. He basically took the bait, hook, line and sinker. But, as you said, it's based on books. So
it's a 3-book series.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty compelling.
Compelling out of 5 stars?
I'd probably give it about 3.5, 4.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Alright, well, here's what I think. If Jason Bourne and, who's the other guy? Oh, God, hold on. What? Who is it? With the who? With the what? Sorry, let me just find it.
Agent 47?
No. I made notes about it. All the notes. I made notes. What did I say? If Jason Bourne was a girl, he'd be Dominka. That it put all other espionage and intelligence movies to shame. But if gore and violence is triggering for you, please don't watch this movie. Yeah,
there's some bits in there that kind of make your head spin. Literally and figuratively. It's, There was a few people in the audience that kind of went, and you kind of go, sure.
Guys, what were you expecting in a Russian versus US post-Cold War intelligence movie?
Yeah, someone's still doing sneaky stuff behind the background, so obviously someone's going to end up dead.
Yeah, really liked it. Then we also watched Annihilation a couple of days ago on the Flixnet. This is basically about an ex-army chick who now works at some
She's
science...
a biologist.
Because she's a scientist.
Yeah, cellular biologist.
She knows,
person.
Yeah, and then her husband got lost because he's still in the forces.
Yeah.
Ages ago. And then you've got these flashback present day scenes.
Yeah, so
that fuck up the timeline.
Exactly, because it's not.
It's very disjointed. It's not fluid.
Yeah, it jumps. It's very cerebral because you're trying to figure out what's going on, and essentially what it is a group of military.
But there are some movies that do that well. For example, Arrival.
Yes, that was.
And
done
that
really
made sense with the reason why everything was the way it was.
Yes.
This was just bullshit because it's like, oh my god, they made such a big deal. Oh, because there's this phenomena called the shimmer.
Yeah.
And it's gaining space, if that makes sense.
So
the border's coming.
Yeah, so it's expanding, but
we don't know what it is.
Whatever it encompasses, it mutates the landscape and all the animals and plants. So it's sort of almost the way we thought it looked as though it was taking, say, animal life and transforming it into plant life.
Yeah.
So, essentially, as soon as you go into this thing,
you're dying as a plant.
You're starting to get converted, molecularly broken down.
And it was just like, all of a sudden we're at the shimmer. No events happened. There was nothing around the shimmer besides the shimmer. And then they walk through the shimmer, and then you wake up 5 days later. Yeah. And you figure out that you've been asleep for 5 days, blah, blah, blah. And shit starts to happen. But it was just the Witcher reboot. Blair Witch, sorry.
Yeah.
I keep getting confused. The Blair Witch reboot that you and I saw last year. It was like a sciencey version of that. Yes. It was like found footage, except it wasn't found footage. But that's what it felt like, where you have all these other things coming to get you, and you're trying to figure out what's going on. The premise was really, really good, but it just lacked follow through. And I'm at the point where I just dislike everything that Natalie Portman is in. I think she is the Kristen Stewart of the early 2000s, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm giving it 2 out of 5 stars, and I think that's very nice.
Yeah. I'd probably give it like a 2.5, maybe 3, only because it had promise. It could have done a lot better, but the ending was just meh. It's almost like you get on the train is going, and then you run out of track and just kind of go, meh.
What was the point?
What's the point? The ending is it was a cheap ending, but people are saying,
it's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God.
And it didn't get
I understand why it was direct to Netflix.
Yeah, it didn't get a cinema release because of it. Essentially, yeah, the ending not so good. They could have done way more. It just it left a lot more questions
than answers.
So, so there's positives and negatives. Positives for the concept. When the initial thing you think, oh cool, there's some real
science content here.
Yeah, and it started really working, then it dropped off. They started, I think, trying for too much, and they tried.
It's almost like they ran out of budget, and they're like, "Sorry, we have to end the movie here."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
So that kind of let me down. But,
did Tomb Raider let you down?
No, Tomb Raider did not let me down. But if I hadn't played the 2013 game,
you would have been like, "This is brilliant."
This is brilliant. But the problem is,
all right, give us a rundown.
So essentially, this is loosely based, and I mean loosely based on 2013 Lara Croft Tomb Raider. So essentially, it has her, starting off...
Her
origin story. So she's trying to fend for herself, basically. She's out on her own. She doesn't want any part of the company. And then...
She just wants her dad, not his money.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
So, it starts off with her as a courier. Then it switches into her, being... Accepting that he may be dead. But before signing the paperwork, the quest begins, and she unlocks a box. And it has a little code and a key, so she goes down that rabbit hole, and sure enough, that makes sort of the whole interlude into, here's all the research, this is the trail, and down the rabbit hole she goes. But she doesn't. So there's the quest. But the bit where she gets on the boat, obviously it's a smaller boat than the actual 2013 game, because that was a ship. Like a big ship.
Yeah, and you had almost, I want to say, a crew.
Yeah, there was a company.
And she went with a couple of friends, didn't she?
Yeah, there was a group of friends that she went with. Whereas this one, it was just...
her and the guy.
Yeah, her and one other person. So, then you sort of kind of go, okay, well, we played the game, and you go through, and as much as I sort of look at the evolution of the actual character, it's a lot better than the Angelina Jolie series, purely because... it's like, look, I'm Angelina Jolie, look what I can do this. It really made her out, okay, so they don't make her out to seem like a spoilt brat. They just make her seem like she wants to find her place in the world.
Yep.
So she goes out as an adventurer and just wants to...
Self-discovery.
But, you sort of... It starts off with being a bit of a punching bag. And
then it sort of just goes into her coming across the whole, I suppose, reason for the whole thing, and that's Himiko, so Queen Himiko, and the island of the kingdom of Yamatai. So the interesting thing is, in this particular movie, they changed it. They didn't follow the backstory from the game, which is her being the Sun Queen. She was trying to be, it's like, reincarnated sort of, and just all the undead samurai warriors and everything. So
when you're in the Temple of the Wind or whatever it is.
So the actual game was much better, because I think you sort of look at it, and even even certain characters, they haven't really followed into it. But, for instance, Matthias.
But Matthias, wasn't he like her tutor?
Sort of, yeah.
In the game, and then in this, he's the bad dude.
Yeah, he's part of Trinity. And then you don't see any of the Storm Guard. There's no Storm Guard whatsoever. Yeah. Nothing. Kapoof.
But I will say it's worth a watch compared to... Look, I was a massive... Especially Angelina's original Tomb Raider movie. I was a massive fan. So this trumps all of that. For me, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. Yeah,
I give it probably 4.5 out of 5.
Yep. Because you wish you had followed.
Yeah, if they'd done, instead of it being a virus,
Now you've just spoiled it. Spoilers.
Spoilers alert. Yeah, sorry, but this is why I wanted to mention this, because if anyone here has played the Uncharted series,
just say it has some parallels to Uncharted.
So they've essentially gone...
Terrible, Muriel, you spoiled.
Sorry, but that's that's the reason why I was left a little bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Because they had so much the temple...
Yeah.
The temple looks really cool. But, however, we were expecting the mountain to be covered with all the little villages...
Yeah, because you have to... The abandoned villages, and she's got to scavenge and all that thing.
But I like the progression, how it went from bow and arrow to climbing pick to the guns.
Yeah, because that's the exact same way it goes.
Yeah, that was cool. So, in that sense I enjoyed it, because the problem solving and the traps and everything, sure enough, it's an adventure movie. So it was good. I was sort of left wanting more, but it was still really good.
Yep.
So,
alright, Dirty Money. This is a 6-episode Netflix series that we watched on, obviously, Netflix. It took us, I think, a couple of weeks to slowly make our way through it.
Yeah.
Episode 1 covers the Volkswagen emissions scandal. Then we've got the Scott Tucker payday loan scandal. Then the Valiant Pharmaceuticals scandal. And the HSBC Bank drug cartel money laundering scheme. The maple syrup heist. And 45th, the confidence man.
Yeah, Donald Trump.
And basically focuses on the unethical behaviour of corporations and their CEOs and their boards of directors and stuff. And we found it, there are a few things we knew, and there are a few things we had no idea about. For example, the Volkswagen. And I didn't know that Trump 45th was as unsuccessful financially. I didn't know about all these failed ventures.
And then you look at it and kind of go, oh, look, I'm a savvy business billionaire and I can do all these really cool things and I don't care if things fail. But the problem is, you look at who he is, he's running America at the moment, but he's running it like a business, not a country. Yeah. And he's doing the exact same thing he did in his business. Anyone who'd try and counter him, he'd just cut off. So essentially, the key thing, the ethics committee wiped it.
Yep.
So, that's a little shifty. But the maple syrup heist, seeing how that unfolded and the fact that they were actually stealing the maple syrup and then filling barrels with water and putting it back in the national stocks, that then flicked back to that series we watched where the bees were going. So
Rotten.
Yeah, Rotten. Yeah. Where the bees were actually, declining. The honey was being adulterated. and you got export import, fake honey.
Yep.
And now you look at this, and you get the mafia involved in Quebec and everything. They wanted to control the whole maple syrup industry.
Yep.
And they got close, but it all got shut down. And, it's just a very good series. I give it 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It was really clever reporting. And investigative.
And very unbiased.
It was just
research.
Literally the way they portrayed it. It was there to let you make your own decisions. It was just all the facts.
Yeah.
So, it's very, very, I suppose, compulsive watching, because you wanted to just keep watching. You wanted to keep knowing what was going to happen, and also seeing the individuals break down over the course of the actual episodes. You see them all, smug at the beginning, and then you see them start breaking down near the end with some of them. But you saw, seeing it from an entertainment point of view, they got the entertainment. They got it. But if I was to look at it and go, generally, if you're going to look at a story, there's just going to be one side, like one side purely, but it was counterbalanced. So
it told you the bad people's story.
Yep.
Like, oh, we did, they did this, and then they focused on the whistleblower, and then they brought in the people it affected, and then what the company, in quotation marks, did to deal with said situation of scandal.
And it's not just the same kind of reporting across the board. You got different styles of directing. You've got a different kind of stories.
It made each story unique. Like,
exactly.
It didn't feel like you could feel the sense of the series or the docu-series, but it didn't feel like stretched out. It didn't feel... You know what I mean? How some things you can kind of...
It wasn't disjointed.
That's enough conspiracy.
Yeah.
You didn't get sick of it, like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Or kind of over...
For a documentary...
It was
literally on the money for dirty money. So
talking about on the money, the Witcher TV show, apparently the pilot is now out for notes. So the pilot episode is completely written, script-wise, which I'm really, really, really excited for. The writer, Lauren S. Hisrich, she also wrote the Defenders script, Daredevil script, and as well as some episodes of The West Wing. So apparently people are saying that it's going to be really close to the books, and she's thrown out some hints saying that it's starting from The Last Wish.
Ooh, so this is going to be good. And as we know from the game, I'm completely enthralled by the game. I'm a sucker for the game. The reason why I don't play the game at the moment is because I get stupid things like it takes me an hour to kill one enemy while riding a horse. You know why? Because the beast was higher level than me, and I was lazy. But I figured out if I did drive-by shootings with a sword and a horse, and you watch me do it, and you ask me what the hell are you doing, and I managed to kill the beast, but it's more a case of I want to complete everything. I'm a completionist. And it's very expansive, and the storyline is really, really cool. And I remember because there was a glitch. Well, not really a glitch, but there was a thing in the game originally. What you could do, you could kill cows constantly, and they respawn. But what happened with the patch is the developers didn't like the fact that people were farming cows. So what happened was, you start killing cows too much, then I haven't done it because I still haven't updated the game yet. Now, what happens is this giant cow demon basically
comes up out of the ground,
spawns up out of the ground, and just destroys you. So it's a case of stop farming cows. So similar to what people encountered when they played
Skyrim, the chickens.
Oh, not really. I didn't do that one, but I did the cracked... I saw a cracked version of Serious Sam. And essentially what happened is, you get this scorpion with these roll guns or railguns, basically, or more like a roll gun, and it would chase you around. You couldn't kill it. It was OP. So people with cracked versions of this game would discover this. So it wasn't really a crack. It was more a case of, we don't like people leveling up this way. Bang. But I looked at that and went, ha, cows. And then it made me think of Diablo and the secret cow level. So that's, fun. So if this follows the books, it's going to be good. So, because they also created the footage for Halo 5 Guardians. So it's going to be interesting. Is it going to be live action or is it going to be CGI? Live. So that's going to be interesting. Because, I mean, if they're going to use CGI to...
Obviously they'll use CGI to... You meant animated.
Yeah,
is what you meant.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
going to see how they blend it.
Yeah.
Because watching how they did Spectral and the CGI in that... Flawless. That is a really good movie. If anyone gets a chance, watch Spectral. So, yeah, that's...
Alright, keeping with the Netflix trend... I saw an article that came out a couple of days ago about the stars are getting larger pay packets. So apparently Winona Ryder plays Joyce and David plays Jim. They make up the A tier, and they're now going to be making $350,000 an episode.
Oh, that's a pretty penny.
The B tier, so that's the characters who play the characters being Mike, Dustin, Lucas and Will. They're all going to get $250,000 a piece per episode. And then the C tier, who are the Nancy, Jonathan and Steve. I don't know why Steve's put in there, because Steve's like the adopted...
Yeah.
He's the adoptive dad that everyone loves now. They're each going to get $150,000 an episode. And no one knows where 11 is going to go around here. People are saying that because she is a breakout star, she is going to be getting minimum $250,000, but it's possible that because she's their headliner, that she's going to get $350,000, which is the same amount that Winona and Hopper are making. So
that's a lot of.
It's the biggest TV series on TV right now,
and it's doing so well.
Yeah.
So.
All right. The first thing I saw about Fortnite was an advertisement that played, like the trailer, that played on Xbox. And I love the sound, the audio clip.
Yep.
It's called Destruction by Joywave.
Yep.
I love it. I have it on my Apple Music. And then we noticed that Fortnite was free to download on Xbox Live.
Yes.
So we downloaded it on the premise of at some point in the near future you and I were going to play it. I don't want to play it anymore. Do you know why?
No.
Logan Paul is now going to start streaming it.
Oh, God.
Because Ninja, he's like the most famous... He's the Nade Shot. Like back when Nade Shot was Nade Shot.
Yep.
Of Fortnite. He's making $500,000 a month.
Just by streaming?
Just streaming it, as well as like all of his deals and merch.
Far
This kid is making $500,000 a month streaming Fortnite.
I'm in the wrong game. I really am. See, I haven't got into streaming, but it's more a case of Logan Paul has destroyed YouTube, pretty much.
Well, they told him pretty much now that, a couple months ago, remember, you're not making any more money off us after you tasered a dead fucking rat.
Yep.
Because, showing a dead body in a forest
that's fine. Yeah, no dramas. Fuck.
But what do you do?
So, at what point does Twitch wreck it for, obviously, people are going to look at it, this is easy money.
Is Twitch also owned by Google?
I don't know.
Let me check
It'd be interesting to find out.
Twitch owned by Google. Who is your parent company? No, Amazon. Amazon acquired Twitch Interactive for $970 million.
Oh, God. But, I mean, look at it. He doesn't even own a PC.
No, he bought it.
Just
he
to play
made
this
the
game.
video showing him buying shit to start his streaming.
Yeah, and now it's just...
Alright, keeping up with the gaming. Do you have one of the fat models of the PS3?
Yes.
Congratulations, you can claim yourself $65 US.
Woo!
Yeah.
So this is just the article that I got from PC Mag. And when the slim model of the PS3 appeared, the so-called other OS functionality had been removed as part of a firmware update due to security concerns. And that resulted in a class action lawsuit which dragged on until a settlement reached in 2016. Polygon first reported saying that the settlement of fat PS3 owners were able to claim $55, but that increased to $65. You can still claim the $65 payout, but time is about to run out. If you have the fat PS3, you have until the 15th of April to submit the claim form, but you must state where you purchased it from and need to prove that it was an authorized retailer, although how they're going to check. You're also required to provide your PSN name, your PS3 serial number, and claim that you know that Linux could be installed or removed. But that feature meant that PS3 essentially lost its value in your eyes. But if you intend to claim, keep in mind that this offer is limited to the 20 gig, 40 gig, 60 gig, and 80 gigabyte PS3 models.
Nice. Yeah, because I remember a lot of people going and getting the Slims, and I was like, why would you bother getting a Slim? You just, use the normal.
They liked it because thinner is sleeker.
Yeah.
Especially coming off the PS2. And when you have like an entertainment unit, you want everything, your VHS is flat, your DVD player is flat, Xbox is flat. That's, I guess, what they were after.
Pretty much.
I just, it's a dull day. Okay, this is a story that is, it shocked me when I first read it. So I'm titling it, This Dad's Not Playing Games. So to give you the, rundown in 60 seconds or less, a dad in Utah is suing the Irving-based Boy Scouts of America because they stripped his son of every merit badge he earned. This obviously blocks him from achieving his dream of becoming an Eagle Scout because he has Down syndrome. And a speaker for the chapter, like that club, that specific, what would you call it? Not company. But that hall, is that how they call a scout? Like that scout organisation out of the big umbrella of organisations, that chapter, said that they made accommodations for his disability so he could earn badges. And what they said was, this is a direct quote from them, if the task was cooking, he had to pour a cup of flour, he wouldn't stop pouring, but we awarded him a badge regardless. And the dad made a statement on his Facebook saying that, all of the merit badges involve some sort of form of memorization, speaking, or performing a task on command, which isn't something his son is able to do. They're seeking $1 in damages because in the US you have to have a price.
Yes.
And the minimum is $1. But all they want is for his badges to be reinstated.
Yeah, and I see that as, why would they take the badges off him? This kid, he's trying. That's really
what I
hard.
reckon? It was some angry parent who's gone, my kid does all of this kid's done nothing, and this kid has more badges than my kid, blah,
exactly.
blah, blah.
And I think my kid worked harder than this kid, and you know what? As a scout...
That's not what Scouts is about.
No, it's about, essentially, you're learning everyday skills, survival skills.
And friendship shit,
and friendship.
That's what it's about.
The badges are a way of getting you involved and learning different skills. Yeah. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you can pour a cup, half a cup,
but you're still participating.
You are participating. You're trying to do something. It's
and
about
you were a scout.
Yeah. So essentially, I was also a venturer. So
I don't know what that means. But okay.
It goes basically Cubs, Scouts.
What's his face? Still
Venturers,
Chief
Rovers.
Scout? Grillis, Bear Grylls.
I think he is. Let's see.
Ranks in the Boy Scouts of America.
So,
Okay. So, no, they're the leaders.
Yeah, so...
Can you hear our neighbours?
They're crazy.
They're having another
So,
domestic, Jesus.
Yeah, so Bear Grylls was the 11th of July 2009. So he was a Chief Scout of the United Kingdom and Overseas Territories.
So is he still or was? No, he is. He still is.
Still is?
He's still... I'm looking at the scouts.org.uk.
So he's the Chief
He's still
Scout.
the Chief Scout.
Yeah.
And they're appointed for a 5-year tenure. So I don't know how many years he's got left.
Because he's been doing a pretty good job. So it says, 2009, that would have been 2014. 2014, so he's had a second tenure?
No, because if he started in 2014, and it's 5 years, right? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, this is his last year.
Okay. So, yeah.
And then there's a link to see what Bear has been doing during his time as Chief Scout. The last update... Oh, wait. It's not even in chronological order here. He hosted a Scout Summit on the 11th to 12th, 2017.
As they normally do.
So, yay! Alright, back to regular scheduled programming. Okay. You know the suspicion that essential oils may be endocrine disruptors, and that original study that said that in the case study of 3 young boys, I think they're like 10 or younger, they were identified by their paediatrician as having unexplained large breasts, and the doctor said that these boys regularly used tea tree and lavender oils, and then when they stopped using the products, the issue went away. Well, researchers in a new study, and they were presented at like the Endo 2018 symposium in Chicago last week, and this study was conducted by Endo because of its Endocrine Society's 100th annual meeting. The researchers of the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, or NIHS, which is part of the National Institute of Health, the authors selected 8 compounds found in lavender and tea tree oil to study it closely, and in the lab they applied it just to cancer cells to watch for changes in estrogen and androgen receptor genes and other endocrine activity, and they found that the compounds had varying effects, but they all appeared to have hormone disrupting activity. When I went to actually look at the paper that they were presenting, I went to all the links, but the paper's link that was reported, the actual, DOI, when I clicked on it, the article had been moved.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't get any stats for you, and I couldn't get you the DOI. But when I found it on, the article, there was a link to it. So I knew the paper eventually, existed at one point in another. But I can't get you stats, I apologise, and I didn't have a chance to double check. Again, sorry, and dig for it. But they did suggest, allegedly, a link between oils and abnormal breast growth in young boys. And that's called prepubertal gynecomastia or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But sorry, I couldn't find stats. I went to look for the original article when I was originally going through all the shit I wanted to talk about today.
Yep.
But I couldn't find it. I apologise. Okay, buckle up.
Here we go.
This is one you're absolutely going to detest. Move over vaping. Move over e-cigarettes. Juuling is in town.
What?
It looks like a USB.
Okay.
And that's how you charge it.
Yeah.
Right? So kids in schools and colleges are charging it in their laptops. And apparently they have really sweet flavours that come through the vaporizer. And they call it nicotine juice. And it comes in mango, creme brulee, cucumber, and a ton of other sweet shit. And apparently it doesn't produce a cloud. So you just vape, in quotation marks, and there's no cloud that comes out. but these kids are getting a hit of nicotine, and apparently it's like the latest thing. They're calling it epidemic.
Yep. And so essentially, because like you wouldn't be able to tell if someone was vaping or not.
And apparently, they plug them in to charge, and that's how they're disguised. Look like a USB. They still contain nicotine. It's a long, slim vaporizer that has disposable pods of nicotine juice.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so... Oh, jeez. So, basically, they're just little pods.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it just comes in a cartridge. And
yeah.
Well, there's ingenuity for you.
Sad story. We're about to lose another species. In Sudan, the world's last male northern white rhino has died in captivity at age 45.
Which isn't good when you think about it.
Not at all. And they're saying that a complicated scientific procedure is now the species' only hope.
Yeah, so basically we're going to have to be using IVF to preserve the subspecies.
But the thing is, the only two females that are left are his daughters.
Yeah.
So not only is that incest, but we have no...
But what if you could use CRISPR to alter that?
Well, you could theoretically, if you were doing like a PCR, generating a library, you could use a high error rate polymerase, right? And sequence it a few times, like their genome, I guess, because we can do that now.
Yeah, so...
And then just transcribe them, see which embryos last. But the thing is, I don't think that they're willing to do any scientific experimentation on it.
Yeah.
Because... we're left with nothing.
Well, we've only got two females left.
Yeah, but traditionally, how much semen do they have in a semen bank somewhere? And if they have the girls as cells, can't they just fertilise them with self and make clones?
You think they would be able to?
So, I don't... I have a question. I understand the poaching behind it, and I'm not saying that that's okay. But how do you only get to 3 rhinos left? Where was all the money that went into conservation of this species going?
Yeah, someone's making bank.
You know what I mean? Like, it was all the rage in, I think it was like 10, 15 years ago when people were like, save the white rhino, save this petition, donate to what's the World Health Organization version for animals? It's got the panda.
Yeah.
What's it called? It's like worldwide. I was going to say WWE, but that's not like WW World Animal Protection. That's not it. It's got a panda on the logo.
WWF. Wow.
That's it.
Worldwide Fund for Nature.
Yes, that's it. It's got a panda. Yeah. What were they doing with all this money that people donated when they supposedly were saving money for the fucking white rhinos? Can someone explain this to me?
So, basically, what's happened is, although they were able to successfully conserve the white rhino,
they weren't able to reproduce.
What happened was there was low reproduction, but poaching was occurring within the reservations. Like, the people were actually getting into the reservations and killing the rhinos to get the horns.
If that happens, don't you go, let's employ people to guard them?
Yeah. But what was happening is the guards were actually getting killed. They were killing the guards, killing the rhinos.
Then why not move the rhinos somewhere safe?
They were still breaking into the compounds.
No, but move them somewhere. Like, if there are only 2 left and you say, this is it, this is the next Tasmanian tiger.
Next thylacine.
Fucking, they're in captivity anyway. Don't give a fuck what anyone says. Fucking take them somewhere that... Ask the British. They fucking have everyone's shit from everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The British store shit. Everything. Or ask the American Natural History Museum. They'll take care of it. Ask the Americans. Tell them that the white rhino can find oil And the Americans will help out.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there was a case in 2017 where one of the rhinoceros at a zoo near Paris was shot by poachers, and then they cut off its horn with a chainsaw. Mm-hmm. So they're breaking into zoos to kill the rhinos to take the horn.
That's why I'm saying put them in an undisclosed location.
You know what? People talk. That's the thing. As soon as there's...
Get a company, a corporation. Why can't Craig Venter do it?
Think of it this way. If you've got 1,000 rhino, the cost per kilo...
We don't have 1,000 rhino. At that point, but 2 weeks ago, we only had 3.
Look at it as inflation. So you have 1,000 rhinos in the world. The going price for...
White rhino.
Ivory, at that point...
Are they the only animal that makes ivory?
You got tusks of elephants.
But that's why I'm asked.
Yeah. So rhino horn, for instance, say, I don't know how much it was per kilo or per tonne, but say per kilo, the numbers drop, the price of rhino horn goes up. It comes down to the second...
As big as your dollar can go.
Yeah. There is massive money. Someone can pay big money. Someone's going to make bank. Someone's going to be sitting there, I guarantee you, going, I can make
the last one.
I can say that I have the last rhino horn. I can charge whatever
I want.
And at the end of the day, someone has made money.
I agree. But
gone.
All I'm suggesting here is, right? First off, there are hundreds of wildlife conservation societies around the world that have been asking and begging people to donate money. Where did this money go if nothing has changed? Yeah. How did it get to the point where people are breaking into zoos and enclosures and conservation and national parks to do this? If you don't have trained people guarding, why are you employing them? And if people are getting in, take them to... I'm telling you, Craig Venter would do it.
Yeah. Craig
Venter and a ton of other people, and we've got fucking... Why didn't Bill Gates do something?
Well, look at it this way. Last year, the WWF made $320.6 million.
Are they a non-for-profit for-profit or a profit organisation? No, it's a supported coalition for US business.
There you go.
They are for profit.
Yep. They're making bank.
So, you know where all the money went? To their own back pockets.
Administration.
How much does their CEO make? Their CEO got paid $455,147 US bucks in 2009.
So imagine what he's making now. It's
And apparently their website says that they're non-profit.
Well,
I'm sorry, if you're non-profit, why are people getting a salary?
Exactly.
I don't know.
And it's funny how they use the panda. Sorry, but pandas are stupid. Do you know how dumb they are?
No, because when you think of extinct or endangered species, it's the panda.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And I think that the panda was their first, And
campaign. Everyone loves a panda, but pandas are stupid. Pandas can't even be bothered.
I love the story of that panda who acted like she was pregnant for months because she wanted extra food.
Yeah.
And to sleep. That's me.
Yeah.
Alright, continuing on. IBM is kicking off its Think 2018 conference this week with 5 in 5, and they're going to present a collection of IBM research inventions and technologies, in quotation marks, that could change our lives in the next 5 years. So the word on the street is that IBM is building the world's smallest computer, and that they're expected to announce the details at this symposium. Apparently the computer is 1 mil by 1 mil, and that's smaller than a grain of salt, and it apparently costs less than 10 cents to manufacture.
That's pretty cool. You know what? You can manufacture it for less than 10 cents and then charge $100 for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bank.
Do you know what how much money they'll make off the patent for that technology alone?
Heaps.
Do IBM make Intel? Who is Intel owned by? Intel Core 2 Duo. Semiconductor manufacturing company. Who are you? Sorry. Formerly NM Electronics. Who is your subsidiary? Who are you?
I think it's got a few subsidiaries. McAfee, Mobileye, Altera, Nirvana.
And they do a ton of, we call it security stuff.
Yeah.
Dell is 15% of their total revenue.
You got Intel Israel.
And Lenovo accounts for 13%, and HP 11%. That was in 2016. I don't know. I think that they're their own company. I don't think they're owned by anyone by themselves. But can we just discuss how much money it takes to make semiconductors?
Heaps.
To get pure silicon? Yeah. Alright. Moving on. There is now a Kansas measles outbreak that is now in the double digits. The last time I checked, the measles cluster that began early this month in Johnston County has reached 10 cases and counting, according to the Kansas Department of Health and Environment. And this outbreak is obviously still being investigated by both the county and federal health departments. They're working to identify anyone who may have come into contact with infected people. So 8 county, like the Johnston County residents, have measles. 1 Lynn County resident, because they are associated with the daycare that one of these Johnston kids went to, and 1 Miami County resident who is not associated with the daycare is also sick, which means they just picked it up in passing. Yeah, because can we discuss how infectious this is?
So we're getting hot spots, which are now it's expanding. So
they haven't been able to identify. Well, last time I read up on this, where and when each case became infected, but they are urging people who are ill or exhibiting measles-like symptoms to stay at home. But if you're seeking medical care, before visiting the provider, call ahead. Make sure that they can take measures to protect the other patients and staff members from your illness. I'm over it, and so many people can potentially die.
Yeah, it's
from this shit. It's not funny.
No, and
do you know, I was in class last week and I was talking to one of my friends, and she and I were talking about how we watch Jim Fails.
Yeah.
And all those other weird Instagram things, and she goes, you know what's funnier? And I go, what? And she goes, anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
And so she's been sending me all of these anti-vaxxer accounts and all their pseudoscience and all of their bullshit and their propaganda, and
it's horrible.
I don't know. It's disgusting. I also found this really, really cool thing because, again, when I say I like drugs, I don't mean illicit drugs. I mean I like drug design and the basis of pharmacology. But a team of sorry, I have to drink. My throat is like, I think it's this changing weather.
Maybe, yeah.
Playing with my endothelial surfaces.
Yeah.
And my mucus is just not itself. But a team of psychiatrists, chemists and pharmacologists at UK's Royal College of Psychiatrists, obviously, systematically ranked basically the 5 most addictive substances on the planet based on how much physical harm they cause, how addictive they are, how much damage they can do to not only the person but society as a whole, and judging also by things like costs spent on healthcare. And they published their results in the Lancet. But again, when they published this story, I went to find the stats and the analysis and all the other drugs that didn't make that 5 prime cut. Do you think I could find it? No.
No.
So, apparently heroin is ranked highest.
Yeah.
Followed by cocaine, nicotine, barbiturates, and alcohol.
Yeah. So they looked at it, and basically tobacco and alcohol were ranked equally due to their aspect of addictiveness. But but they also have a similar physical dependence ranking overall. So
yeah.
But honestly, it's been interesting, sort of how dodgy it was done.
I'm sorry, but people can't access your stats.
It's not a valid study.
I can't. And also, the lecturer was talking about things today, and he's gone, when you make something in science, for example, let's take the thing of this case, what you're proposing is a model. It's not fact. It's just by your standards of observation and analysis, you have derived that model. But I don't know. Anyway, I fucking love science. Had a go at this flat earther called Connor Murphy, if you're listening, sir. Apparently he revealed why people just don't fall off the edge of Earth, because apparently Earth is flat, which I didn't know. This is news to my ears.
Oh yeah, definitely me.
Yeah, but he has pretty much concluded that there is no edge at all, and this is a direct quote. Fall off into what? Do you know what I'm saying? There's no edge. That's a misconception. The way that we see it is it's an enclosed system. There's water above. There's the firmament. I have no idea what that is.
Or the dome.
And then there's water above it and water below. And then there's no leaving it. There's no anti-gravity allowing us to float around and find other suns and shit. But nobody falls off the edge because we're all in a massive snow globe, essentially, is what this guy is saying.
But technically a snow globe is a sphere.
It's a semicircle.
Sort of. But you could essentially say, look, there's an object, and then you shake it, and it wobbles around.
And he went on to accuse NASA of covering up that the Earth is flat in order to make more money. But then he contradicted his earlier views, saying we don't fall off because we're in a dome. And he goes, basically, if you can imagine the globe squashed down with Antarctica, instead of being on its own continent, being the perimeter and the side. So people say that it's an ice wall. So he's saying that instead of Antarctica being a land mass, it's a sky mass.
Right.
That forms the walls.
So
kind of like in Game of Thrones.
Let me guess, they fly submarines?
I have no idea.
Well, we know someone who's been juuling heavily, don't we?
I think juuling is the least of that man's problems.
But what happens if it was... Actually, you know why it's in flat cartridges? So it can fit flat on the surface and doesn't fall off. Because the Earth is flat.
Do you know, I watched this video online because I had nothing else to do. I did. And it was about these people being the flat earthers, and they were saying shit doesn't fall to Earth via gravity. What is it, 9.8 meters per second?
Yeah.
Right? That's how fast the Earth is travelling up.
So what happens when the Earth finally hits something?
Well, apparently it's not gonna, because there's nothing else but us. So
we're the centre of the universe?
We dictate the centre of the universe.
So we are the universe?
Yes. But apparently the Earth is moving up 1.8 metres a second. So if you jump, the Earth touches you. You're not coming back down.
But then again, is it taking into account one person jumping or everyone jumping?
No, just like if I was to toss my phone onto the ground now, right? It's the Earth moving up to catch it.
So hypothetically, if everyone faced the same direction and sneezed, Earth would spin like a dinner plate.
No, we'd shuffle to the side.
But then again, like if we're talking about what length we're talking about, we'd just sneeze everyone, like we'd strafe sneeze, and everyone would go to the left.
These people probably
take a sneeze to the left.
These people are take a step to the right. That the Earth is like 1 kilometre wide.
Jeez, if it's
in their view, it's. People don't understand how massive the Earth is. People don't understand how much... Like, yes, there are big countries and continents, but isn't, like, 98% of the Earth water?
Uh-huh.
People don't understand the actual... It's one thing to go to a kid and say, oh my God, the Earth... Shut up, fridge. The Earth is, like, 90% water. And it's another thing to go in a plane or on a spaceship and be like, see all that blue shit? And then this one speck of dirt? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's just...
stupid.
like, honestly...
Stupidity in its finest.
Flat earthers...
This ain't no place for you.
No, so...
You don't even go here.
So, my question is, what do we do about them? Like, what do we do with them? Do we just...
Do you know the people that were like, hey, let's have a Mars expedition, one-way ticket. Let's put them on a thing. A thing being a space
shuttle.
You know
what we do? Or a bus. Put them on a bus and tell them just to drive. Just drive.
No, but they would get to the end of, like, Seattle, or they'd get to the end of New York or Florida, and they'd be like, oh my god, this is where the world ends. I can't go any further, even though there's a fucking beach. But
then again, what happens if it's the Matrix? What happens if you go past the code?
But they're not saying it's a simulation. They're saying that there's a wall.
But what if
and that wall is Antarctica. But and you can climb up the wall, but then you get to the sky realm, and that's more Antarctica.
Fuck them sky people and their sky castles. You know, flat earthers are just stupid. But then again, what happens if they're the people who are working for the non...
Do you think NASA pays for these people to talk this shit, so that way... You know what I mean? Like,
Maybe.
Is this some larger conspiracy where NASA pays these people to act like idiots, and then NASA can just go about their lives without... Do you know what I mean?
Well, I reckon Hollow Earth is pretty much where they store all the vintage cheese.
I'm sorry, Earth is not hollow. If Earth was hollow, we would all fall into the core of the Earth.
Yeah.
How can we explain electromagnetic force without the fucking Earth's core?
Or maybe
have you heard of volcano juice?
But maybe it's just known as spicy cheese then. But I mean, why is it that cheese never rolls? Well, actually, no, it doesn't. But they call it flat Earth, but why are there mountains? There's hills. Earth is not flat.
No, they're not really that tall. We just perceive them to be that way.
What is their perception of dumb people?
I don't know.
Because I tell you what, we've got stuff in our fridge that is, currently having a higher IQ than them. So
I don't know, and it's not like you can ask them to take an IQ test.
Well, you know what we do? I reckon what we do with all these flat earthers, if they think it's flat, we just get really big brooms and we sweep them off it. Done. Problem solved.
Alright, well, I'm sorry to cut you short, but let's move on to the next story, good sir. Again, source from I Fucking Love Science. Apparently, a report came out saying that parts of Easter Island are at risk of disappearing because obviously sea levels are rising, but they're not. Easter Island is found in the southeastern Pacific Ocean. It's famed for its incredible statues that were first made by the Rapa Nui people. I apologise if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Centuries ago. At its peak, the island was thought to have about 17,500 people, but then when the Dutch explorers arrived in 1722, it had no more than 3,000, but by the 1860s they had pretty much all disappeared. Today the Chilean island houses more than 6,000 people, the island house 6,000 people, but the continuing rising sea levels due to climate change is saying that the statues that 100,000 tourists visit each year, they need to be moved, but that also comes to the cost of losing their message in history. So, do we lose them, to rising sea levels, or do we move them and break their sacredness?
Yeah. So, it's a hard call. I think, honestly, if they were to be covered with water...
They'd erode, wouldn't they?
No, not really, because the only way they'd erode is if the water was constantly being, smashed against it. Otherwise, if it's just rock underwater, it would just...
be buffered, kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they, I won't say rebuilt, but they... renovated Stonehenge. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They were putting things back on.
So people go to Stonehenge thinking that it's the British or the UK version, I should say. Is it in Scotland or England? I think it's in Scotland. It's near Bright, isn't it?
It's in Wiltshire, England.
Yeah, right on.
So,
yeah, I thought that the way it is now is the way it's always been, but apparently not.
Yeah, but it's interesting. I mean, they say it served as a burial ground, so...
Like a mass burial ground, or like a ritualistic burial ground?
Interesting. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see further.
Druids were some real...
Yeah. There's a series out called Britannia that we need to check out that deals with the Vikings and the Druids and all. Actually, I don't know Vikings, but yeah, interesting.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Otherwise, what you do is you just put all the Easter eggs in the ocean, build an Easter egg wall that would stop the rising water towards Easter Island. Or imagine if it only just filled up every Easter, or maybe the water recedes every Easter to allow us to get the chocolate Easter eggs. Conspiracy?
Codes conspiracy.
Yeah.
They're estimating that the first post holes at the Stonehenge site, if you go to englishheritage.org.uk, you can access the Stonehenge timeline. Apparently the first post holes were put in between 8,500 and 7,000 BC in the Mesolithic area on the northwest side of Stonehenge. And the Romans actually came in, and it was a ritualistic importance to obviously Roman Catholic British people. And then the Ministry of Defence bought it as a training ground. And then it was given to the nation in between 1915 and 1918. The restoration was completed in 1964. And then it was given a dignified setting in 2013, which the road which ran right past the stones is closed, and a new visitor centre and exhibition centre is built 2 kilometres away from the monument, and the stone circle is reunited with its sacred landscape. So they're admitting that they bought it, but I didn't know that it's not that first off that it was owned by someone privately, and then they had to give it to the people, and secondly that it was not rebuilt,
fixed, modified.
Not remastered. What do they say when...
Remodeled.
Is it remodeled, like when you buy a heritage listed site and you have to...
Refurbished.
No, I can't even remember.
It's usually refurbished.
So, yeah, great.
Yeah.
This is a really, really, really cute story.
Yeah.
And I read this and I was like,
Gosh, how cute.
And it was published in Ecology Letters, and I have the link here for you. If you want it, good sir.
Excellent.
I hyperlinked it for you too. So, rather adorably, mongooses who live together to develop, they live together, but they develop specialist diets to avoid food fights.
Yeah, so they don't fight over each other's pizzas, they order different ones.
No, some will order pizza, some will order pasta.
And some go garlic bread.
So the idea is, and this is a direct quote, social animals can gain many benefits from group living, but they also suffer from competition over shared food resources. And this guy says that our research shows that banded mongooses, which means group family living mongooses,
mongoose,
they're a band, as bees are a swarm, birds are a flock, sheep are a flock, a murder of crows, that shit. That certain social advantages, namely protection, can also generate intergroup conflict, and this aggressive tendency has benefits when it comes to scaring off potential predators or rivals, but it can also create some struggle within groups, because after all, hunger pangs can turn the most easygoing person in the world a little grouchy. So to skirt this, each individual mongoose establishes their own dietary niche.
Yeah, and the banded mongoose is very cute. You should all just look up the banded mongoose or mongo. Very cute. And what they primarily eat is beetles and millipedes. That's because
they like to live in central and eastern parts of Africa.
Yeah. They're very cute little things.
Yeah, and they.
Oh, that was my foot on the
They're
chair.
cute little fellas.
Alright, and the last story for the day. Okay, so I had never heard of this, but apparently volcanoes can cause, like, lightning and thunder.
Ooh. A little bit of lightning, a little bit of thunder.
Yeah, when volcanoes erupt, they often do so thunderously, but until recently, scientists have been unable to distinguish the sounds of an eruption from the sounds of volcanic thunder. So, in addition to the loud roar of eruptions, lightning strikes that spring from the volcanic plumes create these loud claps of thunder. And in new audio clips, the geophysical research letters scientists that published this study revealed the first recording of this phenomenon. But what it is, it's 60 minutes worth of footage sped up into a 5-second audio track.
Damn.
So that's really, 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 really fast. But what they did was they set up microphones in, I think it's called the Bogoslaw volcano. It's somewhere in Alaska's like southwestern Aleutian Islands.
Bogoslaw.
And over 8 months, and they recorded a mixture of these eruption booms and lightning cracks.
Dubstep.
But only by cross-checking a map of volcanic lightning were they able to distinguish what was the volcanic thunder on the audio recording, and they didn't even know until 2006 what caused this lightning, but they surmised that similar to lightning that's formed obviously in the sky, like normal lightning, volcanic lightning occurs when electricity flows between positively and negatively charged particles, but unlike atmospheric lightning, lightning born from volcanoes forms much closer to the ground in the plumes of the eruption. So, and also, the volcanic lightning doesn't always move downward.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then that would make sense because of the salt in the water.
Potentially.
So, the result is a jagged bolt of electricity that appears to jump out of a volcano's mouth. And apparently visually it's very, very stunning. But obviously, by better understanding this volcanic thunder cracks, scientists say that they'll be able to better predict the size of a plume coming off an eruption and if a eruption is on schedule, like, is due and that kind of thing. So yeah.
And I mean, volcanic lightning is pretty insane when you look at it. So definitely worth checking out. Like really, it looks something out of a.
It almost looks like Kronos.
Yeah.
From the Clash of Titans.
Yeah.
Movie.
It just looks
badass, like something out of a sci-fi fantasy movie.
Yeah, really cool.
So yeah, that is it from us today.
Yeah, we went out on a bang.
Bang bang.
Bang bang. So yeah.
Thunder, lightning,
That's to the point where we we could potentially play some Van Halen.
Yeah, I don't want to get an audio strike.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
I also wanted to give one update on that girl. Oh no, shit! She never even said that. In Perth, that got electrocuted.
On via the tap.
Yeah, apparently she's awake now. She's able to blink.
That's good.
She cried, and her mum's saying that just like her box of chocolates, she didn't know what she was gonna get with her.
Yeah.
But she's making moves, and good luck to her.
Yeah, hopefully all the best.
But just thought I'd update that a little bit. Apart from that, do you have any grand plans for the week?
I think I might go back to the very beginning of
The Witcher?
probably The Witcher or Tomb Raider, and start playing all that back again.
I'm
I still got to
seriously
read a lot.
thinking about sourcing the Witcher books.
Yeah. Do it. That's a good plan.
So yeah.
So see what's popping up there.
I'm trying to log in to my QBD account But every time I do, it just doesn't let me do it because I have them saved to a wish list.
Yep.
So I don't have to Google every book. Every time. I just go to my wish list. Like, log in, go to my wish list. And, just go and click on the books. That way I know if it's on special or not.
Yep.
I don't know. Me no know.
Me no know, I say.
Let's go. Here it is. Now I've logged in, even though I've typed in the same password 6 freaking times. But let's not talk about that. And you know what else? After we catch up with The Witcher, we need to start the Assassin's Creed book series.
Yes. All that reading.
Let's just go to The Last Wish, The Last Wish, I should say. Apparently they've decreased the book prices to $19.99.
Ooh.
And our store has it in stock.
We'll have to have a look at it.
Wow. Alright. Apparently they have the series. So we can pay $19.99 in store or buy them online. But I think I might get them in store because then we get the discount at the end of the thingy-ma-bobby.
Do it.
And also, it's Easter next week too, but it'll be Easter after we record next week's podcast. Won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Easter. It's one of my favourite times of the year.
All the Easters.
Alright everyone, this is where we're going to love you and leave you all. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for listening.
If there are any questions, you have any specific topics you want us to cover, please be sure to let us know. Until then, FullMetalChicken and I are signing off. Have a great... Is it 6 days or 5 days until the next episode? Me no know. It's almost 8 p.m. the time I'm about to press end recording, and then I'm going to edit you, so you should be up by 9 o'clock the latest, methinks. So again, we apologise that we're a little bit late, but we couldn't really adjust said circumstances. But anyway, who's all everyone? Thank you so much. Say goodbye, good sir. Don't be rude.
Au revoir. See you later. Thank you for listening.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.